I love to fly up in the sky. Through the clouds I reach so high, climbing up to touch the light. Adventure calls me day and night. The wind, it sings a melody, guiding where I long to be. I'll spread my wings and chase the sun. No limits when the dream's begun. The world below fades out of sight as I soar into the light. The stars above begin to shine, painting trails so bright and fine. Every turn brings something new, endless skies in brilliant blue. The wind, it sings a melody, guiding where I long to be. I'll spread my wings and chase the sun. No limits when the dream's begun. The world below fades out of sight as I soar into the light. I'll spread my wings and chase the sun. No limits when the drum's begun. The world below fades out of sight as I soar into the light.
And how are you fine people today? We're back at the L-1011, today flying from Porto to Liverpool. The last flight in wasn't that great. The last flight with the L-1011 wasn't that great either, but we managed to get there. Last flight was to Madeira, and we had some trouble vectoring in for the approach, for the visual approach, but yeah, I'm confident today's flight is going to be a little less hectic. First of all, because I believe we are going to land using ILS and not really RNAV, which this plane cannot do, which was assigned to us. And yeah, the L-1011 just received an update, and it appears to be a little more stable. So first of all, thank you Trexie and Andrew for being there for the channel. You guys rock. And yeah, let's get right into it. As you can see, the door is open already, but the gate isn't connected. So yeah, glitchy. All right, here we go. Let's go inside. First of all, look at this beauty. The Tristar is beautiful in any color. I'm just trying to figure out if that wingtip on this 787 is going to be a problem for us. No, looks clear enough. Yeah, look at that. This is a very early paint job for when British Airways, well, British BAC, so BAC merged with BOAC, so British what was it? British. Well, the two British companies merged and formed British Airways, and this is the very first paint job for British Airways, or at least one of the variants, because there are many different variants. As you can see, this one has an American registration for some reason. Not sure why, but yeah, and It's a precursor to Landor, so the Landor livery is a much more, you will remember it better, but this one was the first livery for, during the 70s, I believe, for the British Airways, newly born British Airways. Look at these RB211 Rolls-Royce engines, well. Oh, mobile truck sim, nice. I used to do your Euro Truck Simulator too. That was a pretty cool thing. All right, let's go first to our Intrepid autocomplete panel so we can begin our pre-flight preparation. Let's leave it open for now. First things first, let's turn on the battery. There it is. So all of this will be a responsibility of the flight engineer, but still we need to connect the external power. There it is. And this door can be closed for now. There it goes. You can hear the motoring. This door is motorized, which is something you don't see nowadays. Just gonna turn on the lights because it's gonna get dark in a moment, and I don't want to be caught with a dark cockpit when that happens. Okay, and coming down here, done. And of course we're going to turn on the glare shield for now, though we are going to turn it off during flight because it kind of creates issues there to read the INS panel. Alright, so paper flight pack is quite helpful, and the INSs are all turned off, which is as expected. So now the ground power is connected and we're going to switch it on, and this will bring the plane truly to life, turning on every system there is, except for the inertials, the inertial system, but we'll get to that. All right, let's go.
Pre-flighting now. Stand by.
And let's get the passengers in, by the way.
Boarding requested.
Will that jetway connect? This question is everybody's mind. You can see the ground equipment moving in, but doesn't look like the jetway is connecting.
Captain, happy to report that the aircraft is now set to your specifications.
Alright, we got the APU on.
There are no passenger stairs. You will not see passengers visually.
Oh. No. So, again, GSX being GSX. Now the door is opening. The jetway, let me see if I press J, will it connect? No. The jetway was connected when I started the flight, but for some reason it disconnected, so. Alrighty. So we will not see passengers boarding, but I'm about to get bored anyway with all this. Standby. Align. Not standby. So let's set all three INSs to align. I need my usual checklists. Pre-flight essential number 1 and 2 radios, we need to latch them in. 1 and 2 set. Gear lever is down. Down it is. Speed brake handle forward. Flaps and handle position agree, so we got flaps 0 and the handle is in 0. Throttles are all closed. Fuel switch are all off. Transponders set to standby. Radar is off. It's unlatched. Battery is on. Standby power set to arm. That's my guys' responsibility. Overhead panel lights, main panel lights, center console lights. Got it. Now GPU is connected, external power light available, external power switch to on, bus type breakers to close, and they are closed. This one here and all these are closed. Master APU master switched on and 1 tank boost pan pound. This is all done by the engineer. APU generator field as well. ABUs, bus type breakers, they're all our guys' responsibility. Air conditioning, same, so no need to worry about these. And all INSs to align. Cockpit safety inspection complete. Trying to go as fast as I can because this can take a moment to set up. So all this flight engineer station, this is all done by the guy. Overhead preparation, INS in 1 and 2, they are on alignment. Captain for flight officer radio switch is latched. Side window switches are these the ones? Yeah, alright. So these 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Well, actually 6. Ignition set A for today. INS3 is being aligned, which is this panel here. Alright, logo external lights, let's set logo light to on and position to on. Emergency lights test. Oh, test? I never seen test, it's arm, right? Why does it say test here? Never noticed that. And standby power is also set to arm. Alright, seatbelt signs, no smoking. And that's it. Let's turn on this eye indicator because I like everything on. Alright, main panel preparation, radio and INS selector. So it's set to radio for now. Nav 1, set frequency. We'll set that in a moment. So we'll start by, first of all, telling INS where we are. So again, you guys remember how it's done. We come here to Porto Airport and we look for our parking stands and coordinates. We are at gate Sierra 11 and this is our gate here, N41. Alright, so let's set it up. We go to position, insert, and we go November. Yes, 11. I was looking at the other one. N41 14-1. 41 14 and 1. Insert. And now for the easting or westing, in this case west 00843. So west 00840 and number 3. Insert. Alright, now the plane knows where it is. We can go to status and see it countdown. When it reaches 1, well, actually when it reaches 2 is ready, then we set it to, we turn it on and it will go to 1. So we can do this to all the other INSs just for redundancy. So again, Sierra 11 N41 14-1 and 41 14-1 and west 008 40 number 3. Insert, and now it's counting down 90 minutes. Same here to position. Insert, November 41 14 1. Insert, and west 008, forgot, 40 number 3. It kind of becomes routine after a while, but you kind of give it props to the guys back in the day because they needed to do this every single flight. So props to them for sure. Alright, let's call ATC for now and get our clearance to Lisbon. Sorry, not Lisbon, Liverpool. Oh, it's boarded already. So quite fast boarding. What do I want? EV on ATC. Clearance. Request IFR.
Speedbird 1015.
Speedbird 1015 Heavy, 0 delivery, expect runway 35, Turan 9 Echo departure, squawk 6141.
Turan 9 Echo departure. Squawk 6141. Speedbird 1015 Heavy.
Speedbird 1015 Heavy, read back correct. Contact ground 118.855 when ready for pushback or engine start.
Will contact ground 118.855 when ready for pushback or engine start. Speedbird 1015 Heavy. Bye-bye. Talk.
Talk. Instead of thanks, it says talk. Weird. Alright, so what do we got here? We need the airport data, parking stands, airport briefing. So these are all, I need the chart. Ah, there it is. Alright, so the runway heading is the most important. So we're going through runway 35, so runway heading is 351. This is our heading. 3, but much better the opposite way. Oops, too much.
Loxer 3782, taxi for departure.
Alright.
Loxer 3782, taxi to holding point Bravo, runway 35, via Sierra, Bravo.
Taxi to holding point Bravo, runway 35, via Sierra, Bravo, Loxer 3782.
We have not
All
been
aircraft
given
be advised
an
information
altitude
looking
clearance, but
QNH 1021.
so let's import from Simbrief. Let's go to OFP, send to INS, and here they are. Nice. 19 minutes to go. So we're just waiting for the INS to conclude so we can continue prepping the flight.
Over to Tower 118.005, Loxer 3782.
So the time is 18:47. And now we're going to set up the EPR. So takeoff performance. We're going to sync with the aircraft's weight, 0.56 tons. 29 feet pressure altitude, and we got OAT 14 degrees centigrades. Let's send this to our airplane. Oh, first of all, let's calculate it. So takeoff standard 643 APR. We got V1 134, VR 134, and V2 148. Flaps will be 10 as fragged, and stab trim 3.93. We'll set that trim right now. Somewhere near 4, somewhere over there. Alright, now we can set the bugs in, and here they are. This is V1 and rotation. This is flaps for cleanup flaps, and then we'll be clean at 218 knots. So 218 knots. That's our takeoff speed calculated. I'm glad they make the knobs turn faster, because it was a pain to get this done. Alright, set takeoff. First of all, we need flight directors on, and now we can press the takeoff button. There they are. There they go. Alright, we can turn off our GPS just for a fallback, fail-safe system. And in order to get the flight plan in, we'll just import from our Simbrief. So we're going to view our flight plan, import route, and then bam. See, now the flight is in on our GPS. This is just a fail-safe system, just in case we really need it. There's some Z fighting over there. You guys can see it here. Some Z fighting on this scenery. Oh well. Let's go back to our checklist then. Radio INS select to set, nav1 set, nav1 DME. So nav1, we're gonna go here to our charts, confirm our departure. So we already pinned it, didn't we? Yes, we did. So this is our departure. So we can tune in 114.1. So needle flying. That's the old school way, guys. And we are going to go out of radial of 351 actually. Yeah, that's correct. All right, so this is a fail-safe system just in case we need to fly needles. We can fly this VOR in an outbound radial of 351. The problem with flying VORs is that they're never precise, so they're never at the runway. Well, most of the times they're not at the runway center line, so there'll be slight deviation, but we can still do it. So IAS V2 plus 70, that's what our takeoff performance calculated. That's it. V2 plus 70, 218 knots. Heading runway, flight directors are on, autopilot masters are off. Course 1 and 2 is also set, so that's our course 351 on both VORs, although we'll just use the left one. Altitude set and armed. So we're going to go for the initial transition altitude, which in Portugal is 4,000. For Porto, I believe it's 4,500. It doesn't say, but I believe it's 4,500 for the transition. The QNH, by the way, we're gonna get it from the ATC QNH 1021, and this is what we'll set right now, 1021. That's it, and cross-checked as well as a standby right here. Done. All right, let's go to our guy here. So our flight plan tells us that our cruising altitude will be, we're not going to step climb, no chance. We're going to go for 380 for northbound flight, and this is our altitude. We're going to get 240 initially, but we'll request a 380 mid-flight before SDAB. So 280 altitude, where is the altitude panel? There it is. Alright, 380. That's our climb altitude, maximum climb altitude. So 38. That's a very high altitude. I hope the plane makes it. I don't really know if it does, to be honest. And the QNH is 1021. Let's set it here. Alright, 1019, 10120, 1021. Done. That one's done. Alright, so the bleed air is open, which is something that the engineer panel wasn't doing before, and led us to not being able to tug engage, not being able to turn on the engine. Set nav frequency nav2, we'll skip this. Altimeter set and checked, standby altimeter set and checked, HSI set, course done. So main panel preparation complete. Let's go for center console. INS 1 and 2 set. We've moved. My bad. So 4. There. PMS set, refer to manual. We'll set it up. Parking brake is set. Communication radios are set. ADF we're not going to be using today. Transponder set. Radar checked, standby. INS 3 is set, and rudder and aileron trim set to neutral. And they are set to neutral. Alright, so this one's ready. That one's ready. And that one's ready. So we're going to set it to nav. This is INS-3 and INS-2 set to nav, and they're all now operating.
10741 heavy, gate 012, request pushback.
Easy 741
Position
heavy,
and
barrel ground, pushback
position.
approved.
And
Face
now
northwest.
we're going to import the flight plan.
Face northwest.
We already imported the flight plan.
741
Now we're going
heavy.
to start up the flight plan. So we're going to press here 0 to 1 and insert, and bam. There's our first 9 waypoints to Liverpool. And I hope today this map will cooperate a bit better than last time. It was not working good, but today it looks like it's okay. Alright. We're all done, I suppose. We are only left with engine start, so we'll start by telling ground GSX, which didn't work again today correctly. Just tell them that we are 1-2, prepare push and departure. Doors closing. Oh, the jetway did connect, see that? I'll be rare. It didn't say, it said there's no stairs available.
We are ready for pushback.
Let's go here for a takeoff performance. Looks good. So let's prep the engine start. So let's just
10741 heavy, ready to taxi to the active.
Bypass engine.
18 Hotel Golf at gate 031, request pushback. France Solo 55 Hotel Golf, parallel ground, pushback and engine start approved. Face southwest. Pushback approved. Face southwest. France Solo 55 Hotel Golf.
and our
Sleeper
SAT
1015 heavy. Gate
14.
09er. Request pushback.
Speedboat 1015 heavy, parallel ground, pushback approved. Face west.
Pushback at engine start approved. Face west. Speedbird 1015
face
heavy.
west. No, there's no such thing as face west. We'll just face east, I suppose. Straight back 17 departure. Or south, let's face south. Alright, let's turn off the GPU. So we're just gonna go here and turn it off. Let the APU take the load. GPU off. So no chocks, no nothing. The plane's ready, so why doesn't GSX carry on?
France Solo 55 Hotel Golf, request tax.
Parking brakes, please.
Parking brakes released.
55 Hotel Golf, taxi to holding point Bravo, runway 35, Air Sierra.
Alright, let's start
Bravo.
number 2.
Taxi
Press
to
the
holding
button
point
there,
Bravo,
wait for the
runway
green.
35, via Sierra, Bravo.
Engine starting up.
France
Look
Solo
at
55 Hotel Golf.
the N3.
Solo 55 Hotel Golf, contact
Wait for
Tower
20% on N3.
005.
Always start the middle engine, by the way.
005. France Solo 55 Hotel Golf. After 738.
20% inject fuel, enrich.
Echo Sierra 555. Taxi to ramp 055 via Golf. Echo 0555. Top to 738.
Number 2 is on. Let's start number 3, sorry. Yes, number 2, I was right. Start number 3. Green light. Wait for the 20% on N3. Olá, Diniz, boa tarde. Hello. %, inject. There's a Transavia 320 Neo that we were hearing. Now we got the wing walkers. Parking brake set.
Waiting for confirmation for a good engine start.
Yep. Button still latched. Now it's unlatched. Now let's start number 1. Wait for N3. 20% here. There it is, 20%. Oh, forgot the anti-collision lights. Let's go for the charts here. We're probably gonna taxi directly to the runway from here, but still, I don't want to get caught by surprise to where to go, so we'll probably just hit Bravo directly to holding point Bravo. Alright, looks like we got a good engine start. Let's call it in our guys downstairs.
Cockpit to ground. We have a good engine start. You can disconnect.
ATC just got awfully quiet. Okay, turn off the decision height, no need. Alright, let's go for the after start checklist for the...
After engine start checks. Roger, doing those now.
And we're going to do the same here. So engine start, we're going to skip that. We've done that already. After start checklist, all engines, I press a switch. These are all from the bleed plan.
That last flow was completed my job as requested. Got that flow all set for you.
Let's go flaps 10.
Flaps 4. Flaps 10.
Backflow latched, so hydraulic panel, this is all for the guy backstairs. Fuel panel as well.
Left is clear, right is clear.
We don't need to set any of these. Flaps set for takeoff, flight controls check. Let's go check the flight controls. Full aileron left, neutral, full aileron right, neutral, pitch up, neutral, pitch down, neutral, full rudder left, neutral, full rudder right, neutral. That's an incredible lag there. Full spoilers, and spoilers in. Done. Oh, we are checked. After start checklist complete, let's go for taxi checklist.
Speedbird 1015 heavy, ready to taxi to the active.
Speedbird 1015 heavy, taxi to holding point Bravo, runway 35, via Sierra 2, Bravo.
Taxi to holding point Bravo, runway 35, via Sierra 2, Bravo, Speedbird 1015 heavy.
There we go.
Speedbird 1015 heavy, contact Porto Tower 118.005, to dead.
Over to Tower 118.005, Speedbird 1015 heavy.
Turn on my track IR here. Just confirming everything. Trim, set speed, flaps down, speed brakes in. We're gonna run the before takeoff checklist. So brakes, let's check the brakes. Operational. Nose wheel lights and runway turn off lights. Speed minimum 25 knots. No need for anything. Lineup checklist. Let's hold here at the holding point runway 35. Pretty linear. Alright, we're gonna turn on the anti-skid. It's already on. Auto brake set for takeoff. Strobe lights, we'll set it on once we are in the runway. Landing lights again, same. Continuous ignition, we can set that now. Probe heat set to on. Oh, right there, they're all off. And now we're gonna set our transponder to TARA. And set our radar to WNT on. Alright, looks like we're good except for these 3 items. We're gonna check them, but we are gonna do this once we get our takeoff clearance. Alright.
Speedbird 1015 Heavy, ready for departure. Runway 35.
Speedbird 1015 Heavy, parallel out, wind 320 degrees, 7 knots, runway 35, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 35, cleared for takeoff. Speedbird 1015 Heavy.
Runway enter procedures, strobe on. Let's just do that from the outside view for your viewing pleasure. Nice. Such a pretty aircraft, isn't it? Alright, we're lined up. Good to go. Let's go back in. I'm gonna run the clock and 3, 2, 1. Release. Trying to set the EPR as it should. Airspeed alive.
80 knots.
Check. Little lag. V1, rotate. Up in the air, Junior Birdman.
And Portugal 56 uniform Golf.
Positive rate gear up.
Runway 35.
Portugal 56 uniform Golf, runway 35, line up and wait.
Line up and wait. Runway 35. Air Portugal 56 uniform Golf.
Nice.
Air Portugal 56
Autopilot
uniform
1.
Golf, parallel out,
INS.
320 degrees, 7 knots, runway 35, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 35.
Thrust
Cleared for
management.
takeoff. Air Portugal 56 uniform Golf.
Speedbird 1015 Heavy, contact Porto departure 120.91.
Contact Porto departure 120.901. Speedbird 1015 Heavy. Porto, Speedbird 1015 Heavy, 3,900 feet.
Speedbird 1015 Heavy, Porto departure, identified, climb to flight level 120.
Climb to flight level 120. Speedbird 1015 Heavy.
120, set VNAV. Actually, let's go for vertical speed. Get a little lower than that. So we were supposed to go to climb, but we're still on takeoff thrust. Let's go to thrust management here. It doesn't allow me to go on thrust management, so let's go to... Something's wrong here because the plane's not accelerating as intended.
Heavy, contact Lisbon Center 119.55.
Center on 119.55. Speedbird 1015 Heavy. Have a good evening. Lisbon Center, Speedbird 1015 Heavy. Good evening. Through flight level 099 with a flight level 120.
Speedbird 1015 Heavy, Lisbon Center. Good evening. Identified. Climb to flight level 240.
Climb to flight level 240. Speedbird 1015 Heavy.
240. Let's get our charts here so we can see where we are. And as you can see, even though we don't have an RNAV on board, capability on board, we can still accomplish these RNAV departures, more or less. So let's reduce our climb. Because we're losing airspeed actually. Still at flaps 10. Plane's not accelerating as it should. So I'm going to reduce the climb rate so it can recover the airspeed a bit.
Solo 55 Hotel Golf, contact Madrid Center 118.275.
Contact Madrid Center 118.275. Trans Solo 55
Making
Hotel
our
Golf.
right hand turn towards Turon. Now we're going to set our heading. It's strange because the RMI is not following the aircraft's orientation, or we may have a lot of wind. Not sure what's going on here, but the RMI is not following INS. Of course not. My bad. Now it is. Brav Papa, my dearest sweet friend, how are you? Speed check, flaps 4.
Flaps 4.
Look at the clouds. Beautiful. There's one thing I've noticed is that the external lights during the daytime are very, very dim. During the nighttime they're okay, but during the daytime they look very dim. Passing 8,000 feet, we can switch everything up here to off, leaving just the rest on. And we can allow our flight crew to move around the cabin for now. Let's get the overhead panel lit up. Yeah, old school needle flying. Let's get this to off. So let's go for the after takeoff checklist. We've performed the takeoff, of course. Pitch, all this is routine. We just need to follow the needles, really. When I say the needles, are the little bars. So climb checklist, our brake set to off, nose wheel landing light off, runway turn off light off, continuous ignition to off. Nice call. And packs to on. I guess they are all on. Let's confirm. Yeah, they're all on. So these white lines indicate the packs are on. So pack flow, and it all flows. So the packs are important not just for the air conditioning. It's much more important that it's for the pressurization. So without packs flowing air inside the cabin, you cannot pressurize it, and everybody will have a very bad time if that doesn't happen. At 10,000 feet, seatbelt signs to off, landing lights to off. We passed that, and altimeters set for QNH 1013 and cross-checked 1013. And cross-checked 1013 and 1013. This indicator here is just for landing. Actually, I shouldn't have messed with that because it's useless for the calculations. All right.
Echo. Contact Porto approach 120.91.
Contact Porto approach
Sun is setting.
120.91. Easy 70 Yankee Echo.
You can see here the little chevron, pink chevron. Now this plane has a little funky way to intercept assigned altitude, and it will start floating a little bit.
Lisbon Center.
You see the altitude warning.
56 Uniform Golf. Good
We're
evening.
1,000 to
Climb
go.
flight level 140
And as you
for
get
flight
closer,
level
you'll hear a
170.
ding dong, or just a dong in this case.
Portugal 56
We're still
Uniform
not
Golf,
clear on the
Lisbon
flaps
Center,
because we're still
radar
at
contact.
very low
Climb to
speeds.
flight level
So we'll start
340.
accelerating
Climb to
now.
flight level 340. And Portugal 56 Uniform Golf.
See the climb, and we're coming up.
Speedbird
Capture
505.
altitude.
Contact Madrid Center 118.275.
Contact Madrid Center 118.275.
We're still on the wrong flight path, so we should climb to optimum 250 knots, but for some reason the aircraft had a little trouble keeping up, so we're coming up on flaps 4 position, there it is, and then flaps up afterwards. The plane will now accelerate.
Flying Bulgaria 9 Mike Zulu. Contact Madrid Center 118.275.
Flaps up.
Center on 118.275. Flying Bulgaria 9 Mike Zulu.
Alright, looks like it's going to keep up with our requested airspeed. So we're now going to set it for cruise. And it's going to set up for Mach 0.83, that's pretty good, so let's set it up for that.
Madrid Center 118.275.
Center on 118.275. Ethiopian 741 Heavy.
Plane is accelerating to reach that 285 airspeed, and that will get us to Mach 0.83 as we pre-planned. We are not going to fly over Manchester. We are flying very much straight towards Liverpool.
Lisbon Center. Portugal 19 Uniform Tackle. Descending via Upiro to Alpha. Flight level
Alright, so now we're going to consult our OFP. I'm going to see that we need to climb to 380 at ASDAB.
Identified.
And ASDAB is steer point. Which one is it? So we got Urub. Oh, there it is. It's INS 4. So after INS 3, once it shifts for INS 3 to 4, we will request a climb to flight level 380, which is a huge climb, but still, it is what it is. Beautiful plane. For those that didn't see the last few streams, it's my second favorite airplane of all time. First one is actually a modern plane. Oh, it's now. I asked for this. You guys remember it? I asked to remove this. Finally, they removed it. Thank you, Inibuilds. So, like I was saying, this is my second favorite plane of all time. First one is the Airbus A350. And to be honest, I know people will say, well, you shouldn't like modern planes over older planes, classics, but it is what it is. I love the A350.
Contact Madrid Center 118.275.
Center on 118.275.
Can you guys hear me? Is the audio okay? Or is the ATC too loud? Alright, we are at cruise until we reach ASDAB. So steer point 4. Now we're switching for steer point 4, as you can see. So after ASDAB, we're going to request climb flight level 380.
Center on 118.275. Speedbird 1015 heavy.
So we're crossing the Spanish border.
Madrid Center. Speedbird 1015 heavy. Good evening. Flight level 240.
Speedbird 1015 heavy. Madrid Center. Identified.
So we are out of the Turon, out of the charts cover.
Runway 18 right.
So we can go to the en route charts.
3 Alpha with the retreat transition. Runway 18 right. Ready for descent.
Let's go IFRI altitude.
741 heavy. Descend to flight level 350.
Descent to flight level 350. Ethiopian 741 heavy.
It's a little, even less zoom. You can see where we are. Alright, we're now flying towards FSDT, and we can tune these stations to get us a nice little bearing. So this is Santiago 116.4. So let's go 116.4. Oops. 116.4, and there it is. We are 39 miles and approaching, flying straight towards it. Looks nice, looks fine. So let's imagine our INS Borgs. I mean, I don't see why we should. We got 3 INSs, but still, let's imagine our INS Borgs. We can easily go back to Needles if we have the VOR stations. So we can use our HSI, or this is our HSI, so we can use the RMIs and get our bearings and distance. And we can navigate because we can look at the charts here. So this, for example, is a nice chart because we can see out of Turon going to ASDAB. The waypoints are all there. We can actually navigate using this VOR, and it will tell us the heading and distance, and we know that ASDAB is at a certain distance. Currently we do not, because this is in a departure chart. But let's say our ATC tells us to fly a radial out of Santiago. We can easily tune that station and just select a radial, so a course, and we can fly out of this radial pretty easily. But we don't need that right now because we're flying our INS system for now, so it's following correctly the coordinates. But if there's a chance of a problem, then we can get a fallback system. So this is how you fly the old school airplanes. So I can see there's an aircraft. There it is. So this is quite a dangerous situation. As we approach ASDAB, we're going to request a climb. But that dude, where is he? Is just above us. It's going to be a problem for us. But we are turning, so say goodbye. I was watching here. I was seeing it above us. There it is. Alright, we're going over ASDAB. And we make a slight turn to the right, following our flight plan here. So let's carry it.
Control 123.75, Air France 1197.
Alright, let's request the climb now. So we are Speedbird 1015 Heavy, calling Madrid Center, request climb to flight level 380. Here we go.
Descend to 5,000 feet. QNH 1021, Iberia 0471. Speedbird 465 Mike. Contact press control 123.75. Bye bye.
Center on 123.75. Speedbird 465 Mike.
Madrid Center, Speedbird 1015 Heavy, request climb to flight level 380. Let's see what it says.
Speedbird 1015 Heavy. Confirm new altitude flight level 380.
Affirmative, Speedbird 1015 Heavy.
Speedbird 1015 Heavy. Roger. Climb to flight level 380.
Climb to flight level 380. Speedbird 1015 Heavy.
Betsy.
Transaber 5362.
Betsy was faster than me.
123.75.
Channel on 123.75. Transaber 5362. Have a good evening.
So let's get 1000. So Betsy was faster than me. She's not here with us today, unfortunately. Inibuilds doesn't really like to put the co-pilot in the cockpit for some reason. I hope she's not sitting back there like in the A350. And the A350 is really funny because instead of being on the cockpit, she's sitting in the back. Really weird. So we are continuing our climb. The plane will start making adjustments, of course, to get to that Mach 0.83 performance. Currently it can't at this altitude, so that's why it's unable to go beyond 7.75, but it is increasing.
Descend to flight level 260.
Descend to flight level 260. Easington 741 Heavy.
It's just really following here.
Madrid Center. Identify 04712NH1021, expect the ILS Zulu runway 19 with apparent transition.
QNH1021, expect the ILS Zulu runway 19 with apparent transition. Iberia 0471.
Iberia 0471, clear direct descent. Cross given at or above 5,000 feet.
Guys, if you enjoy what you're seeing, remember to leave a like and subscribe. It really helps the channel. And if you feel like it, you can also help by donating via Buy Me a Coffee. The link is in the description. It's also pinned on the chat for those watching live. And again, my overlay on the top is not being updated. Give me a second here. My apologies. It's nothing I can do really. It just comes and goes sometimes. And it only happens with this plane. For some reason. Alright, it's gonna go blank. Let's see now. Should work.
Control 123.75. Bye bye. Channel on 123.75. FSDT Bravo Mike.
Nope. Still not working. Not sure why it only happens with this plane, but it's only happening with this plane.
Transaver 75 Alpha. Contact press control 123.75. Settle on 123.75. Transaver 75 Alpha.
Alright, looks like it's working now. If for some reason you see the progress bar frozen, let me know. This plane apparently just freezes that taskbar, that progress bar. But it looks like it's working now. There it is. It only, I think the problem is that this plane is not correctly exporting data. So you see that the airplane name is blank, it said NA, that's not available. And for that reason, sometimes it just loses all the telemetry. And when that happens, my progress bar will freeze. So guys, if you see it freezing, let me know. We've been through the history of the L-1011 in the last few flights, but what just happened? Oh, we can climb faster. Auto throttle disconnected, so we'll just keep on the auto throttle for now.
Contact press control 123.75. Center on 123.75. Let's go 578 Alpha. Okay.
Let's go 300 knots for now.
18.741 heavy. Descend to flight level.
So I think the problem is that we came out of flight level 240 and this is a very rudimentary computer, so we cannot really expect it to do some complex calculations. So, and we need to go back to climb, by the way. So we need to go back to climb mode. So that's probably why it turned off. Yeah, there it goes. It goes to EPR 690 in order to reach these airspeeds. So probably around 250, between 250 and 320. It's going to try to climb optimally to our assigned altitude, which is 380. So that's why. So whenever we this is in modern day jets, these can be activated automatically, but back in the day we needed to go manual. So I was in cruise mode at flight level 240. Suddenly I started climbing and I didn't press the button to go to climb optimum, and that's why it disconnected. No Betsy, no. Sorry guys. I wonder if she's back there. Let's go back there and confirm she's not sitting in an obscure point in the cabin. I won't be surprised because she does that on the A350. Well, she doesn't do that. It's the plane that does that. Nope, she's not around. She usually just sits somewhere in the rear galley. Next time I fly in the 350, pay attention to that, because if I go back to the cabin, you'll see her sitting in the ground. It's really weird. So this is the old school cabin. You guys see that? Back there's the 5 bathrooms for everybody in economy. First class, you have these 2 not so luxurious bathrooms here. They still, oh, now they're open. Nice. So they weren't opening, but there's no animation to it. Oh, they're just fast. So we can come here to the loo, have a little privacy, and then flush. Does it flush? Nah, it's just a little knob turning. It's cool. I mean, nice little pee-pee. And we got Coca-Cola, got Budweiser. Nice little window. These are, like I said, these are motorized doors. So you see this is the close and open button. There's another one on that side as well. And 2 in the back. So these planes, well, there's actually one more door midways on both sides, because these are wide bodies. What I was going to say is that these planes don't have over-wing exits, as you see in normal planes, modern planes. There it is. No over-wing exits, so aviation came a long way since then. Things have gone different. So we're gonna get our feet wet in the moment, if not already. And we're gonna reduce... Oh, looks like the glare shield light isn't controllable anymore. Or is it the flood? Ah, it's the flood. Alright, so glare shield, it's this one here. Looks very dark. At least for the en route charts. Alright, we're coming up on our cruise altitude, our new cruise altitude, and once we do that, we're going to press here to cruise again. And as you can see, so far the plane's following the 9 waypoints on our INS system. Look at that, I just love to see the dials, to see the digits. It's just another era of aviation, and I just love it. It's back in the day when flying was glamorous, was like you know, a luxury, so to speak. Of course, you could fly in economy class just as today, but flying was, you know, very different. All right, now it's going to set up for Mach 0.83, just as we described it, but now we need to go to cruise. Otherwise, the plane will not know what to do. And looks like we got a little headwind from the left. It's hard to say because these planes don't have wind direction, but it looks like that we are being a little fustigated from the left, not by much, enough to get us off course a little bit. And look at that, we are at Mach 0.829, it's almost 0.83. This is very precise for an airplane at that time. The L-1011 was actually a very advanced aircraft for its age. We talked about that in the previous flights. I gave you a little history on the airplane. It is a brilliant plane. I know one captain that used to fly it on a regular basis, and he used to tell me that he missed this was the plane he missed the most. He said the cabin was spacious, the plane flew like a dream, very smooth. It had this amazing autopilot system, as we can see it now, that really helps the pilots, although it's very rudimentary in modern day standards. It is really a piece of art, and it was really a great investment in technology by Lockheed back in the day, when it was just Lockheed, not Lockheed Martin. This was also the only plane Lockheed ever made commercially for the civilian market. They ended up focusing only on military airplanes, but a lot of the military logics, the redundancies, the advancements, really, like the infamous automated flight control systems, these are all inherited by their military background into the Tristar. Unfortunately, the Tristar, as I said in my previous flights with you guys, the Tristar came a little late. It had the RB11, the Rolls-Royce engines. They had some slight problems, delayed the program, and in the meantime, McDonnell Douglas was releasing their DC-10, and the age of trijet was just beginning. Was quite successful while it lasted. It almost attacked the 4-engine class, but didn't get there. The 747 was still the big queen of the skies. But all of a sudden, Airbus came with the A300, Boeing came up with the 767, 757, and that brought the age of the twin-engine wide-body and killed the trijet, as it killed the 4-engine ones in the long term. So the L-1011 was a great plane, it just came a little late, and that's the reason why no more than 250 units were ever produced. But in my home country of Portugal, you couldn't say that, because TAP Portugal flew it, and this plane was in the skies quite a lot. I remember seeing it every day, the L-1011, flying for TAP Portugal, of course, but also later on it flew for Air Luxor, flew for Luzair, another Portuguese company, and Euro-Atlantic, the famous charter Euro-Atlantic Airways. And I've seen L-1011s from Royal Jordanian. They used to fly here on their L-1011s. British Airways also flew here, I believe. Not frequently, but I do remember seeing the L-1011 just like this one, but in the Landor livery. So the blue top livery, blue tail livery. What other companies flew the L-1011 to Portugal? Oh, of course, TAG Angola. They flew the L-1011 for some time to Portugal, to Lisbon. And Caledonian Airlines flew the L-1011 to Lisbon a few times. I remember them as well. But it flew all over the world, United States, of course. And TAP Portugal used to fly to New York, Brazil, and around Europe with it. So as you can see there, down there on the map, we are flying over the Gulf of Biscay, so there's an entire sea beneath us, the North Atlantic. Although we're not flying through the North Atlantic, it's still... This area is a weather conversion, so converting area. That's what I meant. Not conversion, converting. So that sometimes you'll get some nasty weather over the Gulf of Biscay, but not today. This is my third public flight with the L-1011 from Inibuilds. This last update brought some quality of life items that I really appreciate they added to the plane. especially when it comes to the engineer panel. Some things were missing and we had some trouble in the first flight. Fortunately they resolved it. What I think about it, you guys already know. I enjoy it very much. I really like this plane. I just think that Inibuilds needs a little, all airplanes, not just the Tristar, they need a little optimization because they're a little heavy. But this is my third Inibuilds airplane. I purchased the A350, then I purchased the A340, and now I got the L-1011. A lot of people ask me if I was ever going to get the A300, their Airbus A300. I think I will in the near future, probably during a promotion, because these planes are expensive. So maybe during a promotion in the future, but not right now. I'm satisfied with the fleet I got. I was looking forward to get the 777-300ER because I only have the 200 LR, and it's not because of range. I don't need more range. I got the LR, but it's more of the size and the fact that not a lot of airlines fly the LR, the 200 LR. The LR is the most recent type for the 777, aside the Dash 9, which is still under development. Another plane I would like to get is the 757. We're still waiting for the production to conclude and the plane to be released. So the A300 is part of my list, but not right now.
Contact gas control 127.2, speed of 1015 heavy. Have a good evening.
So we're going to press control.
Gas control, speed of 1015 heavy. Good evening. Flight level 280.
By the way, I thought that British Airways and Airways in small caps, I thought that was a mistake. It's not. The real plane was like that as well. The little Airways, small cap Airways, is part of the delivery. I'm not sure about that American registration though. Could just very well be a registered airplane in the United States flying for British Airways. Could be. No, I'm not saying it's not possible, but I've never seen that in real life in modern day jets. British Airways has always registered their planes in the UK. So maybe it's a little glitch on the livery makers. The red tail is the first paint job for British Airways when BAC, British Aerospace Company, and BOAC, British Overseas Aircraft Company, I believe that's how you say it, they merged into British Airways. This is the first ever British Airways livery after that merge. That little mesh effect on the clouds, I really hate that. Doesn't look good on the weather Microsoft Flight Simulator weather system. It looks like the clouds are made of cotton balls. Really weird. I'm going to get some additional software. It is beautiful. One of that software is going to try to fluff the clouds a little better, so we'll see. First of all, I would like to test it, but unfortunately I'm talking about Rex Atmos Core. I asked Rex if there's some sort of software to test, like a trial version of it, because I don't want to invest in something that I will not use. And I think it's a little overwhelming what that software does actually. But unfortunately they do not have a demo. But one of the things that software claims to do is this, is just, you see that line, this zigzag line over here, and plus the fluffy looking cotton balls. Apparently it solves this or corrects it in such a way that doesn't look this bad. In order to be sure, I would like to test it, but I'm not going to buy a software just for the clouds, of course. Back in the day, the guys at Active Sky used to work on that as well, but for some reason they just concentrated on weather injection, which is good enough. Get us these nice little pictures here we see from this beautiful horizon there. Oh, by the way, I've reduced the size of the menu on the progress bar on top. A lot of people were complaining about it, so no more complaints, I hope. It's a little smaller, gives you more to view beneath, and still gives you the important info. So our ETA is 2045 Zulu, so in about an hour. So what I'm going to do now, oh, look at that, the contrails look really cool. Look at that. Really nice. Oh, they die after a moment, but still look good. So I was going to say, given that we are in a good cruise, and it's going to take a moment, I think I'm going to time accelerate it a little bit. I won't do it for too long because I don't want to miss the descent. So before I do that, I'm going to calculate the descent distance, and we're going to try to get some reference to get into that descent information. So let's go back inside. Oh, so just try to keep. For some reason, auto throttle keeps disconnecting. So throttle management keeps disconnecting. Good thing the throttles aren't moving when that happens. Otherwise, we could be accelerating or decelerating out crazy. So let's go into our flight. Oh, every time we go outside, this gets darker and darker. Just dim the cabin lights a little bit. Alright, so now let's go to Liverpool. First of all, let's see what we got predicted for our arrival. So we're expecting runway 27 via Pepsi 1 Lima. So let's go for arrival. Pepsi 1 Lima. This is the one we're expecting. And there's our airport right there, so we're probably going to make a right-hand turn for the approach. Coming from Pepsi right there. And then all the way to the approach there. Now unfortunately we cannot follow this RNAV approach, and we can definitely not follow the airport, the arrival waypoints, because we don't have that capability, but we can follow ILS. And so we're expecting, as you saw there, we're expecting runway 27, so we can select the CAT 2 as well as the ILS DME runway 27. We could also pick the NDB lock. So what is this? This is a non-precision approach, and what this does is enable us to just fly the localizer and provide us with a DME distance descent. So as we go through the approach, the heading, it will give us a descent without, this is purely for the when the ILS is missing the glide slope information. You can still follow a descent, a 3-degree descent rate by following DME and the precise angles, but unfortunately our plane doesn't have a track mode. This is useful for the Airbus track mode, TRK, but not on this one. So we'll keep that out for now. And of course the RNP, we cannot do that. We cannot do the RNP. And the SRA, so the SRA is it's also a non-precision approach. We could perform the SRA, I suppose, but we don't have these waypoints here. We would need to fly the needles for the Liverpool ADF. It's very old school, this approach here. But we got ILS, and that's what we're going to use. So let's go look into the ILS system for runway 27. So the ILS is as follow. We're still going to fly the NDB we're going to use as reference, but the ILS frequency is 111.75, which we can tune right now, although we're very far away and we'll have that kind of range. 111.75, and our approach course is 266. We can also set that 266. So this plane is all about preparation because it doesn't do much automatically. We can also tune 111.75 on this one and prep the DME for norm. This one's also a norm. Nice. 111, not 117. 111.75. All right. As for the DME, for the NDB, it's 349.5. Let's go. I'm gonna need to move to the side here so we can get a better look at the. So it is 3499. Oh my God, 349.5. Let's go to ADF. 3, 4. Whoa. 3, 4. Oh, how do we move the other digit? 3, 4. Oh. So let's go back then. 3, 4, 9, 5. All right. So we got the ADF tuned in as well. So that's. Where's the needle for the ADF? Good question. So these are. Oh, it's right here. So this is the needle for the ADF. So why do we need the ADF here? For what purpose? So we're probably gonna get radar vectors to turn to out of Pepsi. So the Pepsi is only going to get us here, and as you saw, we need to make not a right-hand turn. We're going to need to make a right-hand turn, then the left-hand turn, and we got the Liverpool 34905 ADF, but we're not going to use that. We are going to do something like this. So we're probably going to get radar vectors in. There's no other way to do it, at least not that I can see. There's no connection between these two. There's no transition. I mean, if we did have a different airplane, a more modern airplane, we would probably get a different arrival. Well, not a different arrival. We could follow the RNP approach, which looks something like this. So you see, it's we would fly straight in from that last waypoint and turn left for the RNP approach. That we don't have that luxury, so we're probably going to get ILS approach by radar vectors. So these are the minimum altitudes at the sector, and as you can see, it's 1,800, 1,500, fairly low, but overall it's the lowest altitudes are 1,800. So there's a noise abatement. These are nighttime restrictions. No one's going to notice that. So let's get our apron. So we're probably going to go for the main. This is not a very big airport, by the way. And I was a bit concerned about the runway length. It's 2,000 meters, and we can actually set that up. So landing weight will be somewhere in the vicinity of 150 gross weight. 150 gross weight. Actually, that's kilograms. Stand by. Is that kilograms? I think it is. Yeah, it is kilogram. 150 landing elevation. Let's take a look here at our charts. What's our landing elevation? I always get in trouble reading the elevation on airports on the JEPS charts. I always need to go to the ILS, because this is where it always is, right here. Runway 78. Alright, 78 feet. Calculate. Alright, and landing distance, you can see that we're right there in the minimums. And that's with the dry runway. So 1,900 feet for landing distance. We could probably eat a little more than that with applying the brakes. Landing flaps 33 degrees, of course, and approach speed is 148, and reference for landing, so landing speed is 143. So we can start deploying flaps at 183 flaps 4, 173 flaps 10, 163 flaps 22, and then 148 and flaps 33.
Speedbird 1015 heavy. Contact breast control 124.
Let's go to breast control.
Center on 124.725. Speedbird 1015 heavy. Have a good evening. Breast control.
So we need to be at...
Good evening. Flight level 380.
Probably 2,000, yeah, 2,000 feet, so...
Breast control, radar contact.
Glide path 3 degrees. So we need to be at 113 nautical miles to start our descent for 2,000 feet out of flight level 380. How do we do that? Well, we have already tuned in the ILS. There is no VOR that I can see in the charts, at least, that we can tune in. We only got the ILS, but we do have the NDB, but this one does not supply range, so it's just bearing. So the only way we can get more or less of a range is that if we get any reference point, so like a VOR near Liverpool, and then based on this calculation here, at 113 nautical miles, we'll start our descent based on that distance. But what we will do is we're going to start our descent using our ATC. The ATC will tell us to start descending. It will give us an approach and then tell us to start descending. And that way we can step descent, although we will not be able to know the constraints, so we'll follow the approach charts. So this kind of a cheat mode. So we know here, for example, that at Pepsi we need to be at flight level 180, and then we need to reduce speed to 2. We'll probably be already at 250 knots. Then at Keegan we need to be at flight level 070 at 210 knots. Then after this we'll probably get radar vectors to turn right And once we do that, we need to be at 2,000 feet. So we need to descend out of 7,000 to 2,000. So we'll rely a lot on the ATC to give us radar vectors. This plane is special, let's just say that. And we need to anticipate stuff. So we pretty much did a briefing. Although the only thing missing from this briefing is the go-around procedure. So, and there it is. Missed approach, climb straight ahead to flight level, 1,500 feet, then turn right to left control climbing to 2,000 feet. So we missed approach, we continue on forward, then turn right. It doesn't say when to turn right, or is directed. It doesn't say when to turn right, it just says that we need to clear the plane, control the plane, then turn right. No bearing given. So yeah. Oh, I get the approach now. So we're going to fly straight. So how? Oh, all right. I missed these arrows here. So how to fly this approach actually is actually pretty cool. You fly direct straight to the NDB, which is Liverpool, and then you're going to turn right heading 058, and then you're going to need to tune in. So this is a little complicated. So it uses two measures of distance. Actually just one, because the NDB doesn't give you a measure of distance, but it gives you two measures of guidance. Okay, that's much better. So when you come down from the south to that last waypoint, you're going to fly straight. At least that's what's charted. You're going to fly straight towards the NDB, and there's no altitude for the... Oh, there it is, 2,500. And then at 2,500 you turn right to 058, and now using the ILS distance at 7.7 nautical miles or at 8.6 nautical miles, depending on the category of your aircraft. We're in the category C aircraft, so we are in the category D. We're going to fly at 058 at distance 8.6 nautical miles. We're going to start our right-hand turn. Where is this distance in this bearing? The bearing we're going to use is the bearing from the NDB 058, but the distance is from the ILS. So it uses two measures of guidance, and it can get a little confusing. Actually, I wasn't seeing that until I saw that we need to make a right-hand turn, and this is what this indication here is, and yeah. After that is just a standard 3-degree nose down descent. Our decision height is 278 feet, but our radar altitude is 200. We can set that right now, although we have time to do so. So this is our radar altimeter indicator. Once you reach this 200 feet, this will light up, as well as this orange light here, and that's it. A lot of stuff to do, I know. But hey, at least we got Coca-Cola and Budweiser for the trip. Although I don't like Budweiser that much, but still, beer is beer. Never say no to beer. Alright. Can turn on the this. Oh, is this? Nice. Didn't know. This is actually a military type oxygen regulator, to be honest, because on most planes, once you pull the mask, once you pull the mask, you start oxygen flow, and the panel doesn't really look like anything like this. You don't even have a meter there. I suppose older planes had this, but once you put on the mask, you need to remember to switch this on to supply oxygen, otherwise you'll be in bad shape real quick. In modern planes, all you need to do is just pull the mask. Once you pull the mask, you activate the oxygen supply automatically, so there's a switch inside. I believe this is where the mask is put. I'm not sure. Maybe this is just a bin, but I don't see where anywhere else the mask should be or could be. I believe this is a little life jacket, isn't it? Life, yeah. Not sure. It's not identified, but it looks like it's the life jacket. Not sure if you have enough time to do that. Oh, by the way, for everybody flying a plane, depending on the seats, but most likely the seats where you're sitting on are also floating devices. Remember that. You'll have the life jacket, of course, if you need to ditch, but the seats are also floating device, or should be. They are detachable in most airlines. You can detach the cushions, and they are floating devices, or they should be. Not sure if modern day safety requirements still state that you need cushions to be floatable. Brest, yes, the city of Brest, but we are in Brest control currently. Let's go outside. See if I can get a better camera here. There it is. So we're getting our feet dry now, passing over. Actually, I think this is Brest, not that one. I don't know. Maybe it's that one. I honestly never been here in real life, so I don't know. We can look into our charts here. We can confirm. Yep. So there's Brest right there. Brest. And it actually looks like a very beautiful place to visit. I need to plan one day coming here. So this is Douarnenez. That's Crozon. And that's Brest.
Contact Brest Control 120.15. Channel on 120.15.
It's like when we're flying over Portugal. For people that don't know Portugal, there's a lot of cities that look huge, but they're actually pretty small. And the other way around, they look like small cities from the sky, but they are huge in terms of the metropolitan area. I think we inherited that from the Spanish and the French, because these are very small cities, but if you look from the outside, they look huge. Look at that. But they're fairly small cities compared to, let's say, Paris. So let's go back here to our... We're almost halfway, well, more than halfway from the French control. Then we'll go to London control in a moment. Still got some light in the horizon, but the sun has set a long time ago. The plane is doing a great job keeping, well, airspeed and altitude, more or less. It's a little lower than expected. Now it's 38,000. This is actually normal because there are pressure fluctuations once you're flying, and the plane is constantly going up and down even though you don't really notice. But if you look at the needle here for our vertical speed, you can see that it's constantly going up and down. You can see it there moving. That's not a glitch, that's actually how the plane's flying. And that's the reason why you should never fly manual above the transition altitude, because it would be humanly impossible to fly for 2, 3, 4 hours trying to keep up. This is the range. I want to reduce the intent. There it is. It's a little too bright. Can actually put this to not increase 12 nautical miles. That's more acceptable. And good job, Inibuilds. Look at the crispiness of these fonts. Looks really good. Really well done. Look at that. Really well done. And a great zoom we can perform only with the chase plane camera system. Alright, I think I moved myself to the left because I'm now offset. Need to line up my track IR correctly. This is it. Alright. And turn it off again. So thrust management kept updating, which is good. Oh, we can program step here? No, we can't. Or can we? I think we can program the step. Although we're above optimal by 10,000 feet. We are 380. But that's for in order to keep up with the step climb that we had here. We should even go higher than that, but as you saw there, the plane is unable to do so, or at least we shouldn't go, because we'll go beyond the optimal. So we actually, in actuality, we should be at flight level 370, but since we're northbound, we need to be at even altitudes, so 380. As you can see now, the 3 last INS points are going to be used once it reaches the last steer point available here, so number 9. The Inibuilds L-1011 will automatically insert the others, the remaining ones. So let's say we got 18 points, it will add 9 points, and once the 9th point is up, we can request, not request, it automatically inserts the remaining 9 points. But the real pilots would need to do that. So let's say that we are about to reach the 9th waypoint here. We can go to waypoints here, WPT, and start inserting more points. So we would go to waypoint 1, 2, 3, etc. Waypoint 0 is current position. Let me zoom in for your viewing because it's a little hard to see. So you see there, waypoint 0 is our current position. If I go waypoint 1 or waypoint 2, I can now, with the WPT point insert, I can just press insert. I won't do that for now. I can press and insert the remaining waypoints. In these airplanes, of course, there's no GPS. So how does the pilots know which waypoints to insert? Well, it's pre-planned. It would be inserted by a plotter, a navigator with a skill to plot a waypoint or a route. And so the pilots will have a sheet which looks pretty much like this, a little different, but so let's say it will look something not exactly like this, because these are stands, but let's say waypoint and waypoint, there will be waypoint 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc., and the waypoints will be set as coordinates like this. And the entire route, you can actually see that already still in our modern OFP. You can see here now. So you see here this Francisco Sacarnet, that's the waypoints right there in coordinates, lat long coordinates, just like for old school guys. So if I want to insert the next waypoints, I would just come here and insert them. So November 4749.3, Whiskey 00418.8, etc., and so on. Same with altitudes, of course. You can set manually the altitudes. Not on the INS system, I mean, in the autopilot. So yeah, pretty cool, huh? This is what the pilots would see. Of course, the old days, I actually have one somewhere in my office. The old days flight plans would look nothing like this at all. It was completely different, straight to the point. Nowadays it even includes weather, so it's like a package today. Wind information.
Expect Bigger 1 Zulu with the arc-10 transition. Runway 27 left.
Expect Bigger 1 Zulu with the arc-10 transition. Runway 27 left. Portugal 5 HND.
It's not what I want. So, oh, this is for Heathrow probably. I thought they were talking to an approach to Liverpool already. But no, this is HOCAM, so this is clearly for I don't remember if Big One Zulu is part of is a famous star, but definitely transition via HOCAM. That's definitely either Heathrow or Gatwick, not sure, but I think it's Heathrow. 27 left, it's probably Heathrow. You can't miss it in Heathrow. It's either 27 left or 27 right. It's mostly those runways are the active ones. So like I was saying, so the it's actually cool to print this and start reading out and trying to understand what it stands for. But basically this is the approach procedures. Oh no, I have Portugal. So you can also come here to the dispatch and you have the electronic format. Same thing, abbreviated, but also got the flight plan here and the integral flight plan here. But you can see here the departure, the arrival, and the alternate. Alternate today is actually Heathrow. And regarding the maps. Oh, I'll be right back. I got a phone call. Give me a second.
5 heavy. Contact London Control 118.475.
Centaur 118.475. Speedbird 1015 heavy. Good day. London Control. Speedbird 1015 heavy. Flight level 380.
Speedbird 1015 heavy. London Control. Radar contact.
Sorry guys, I'm back. Long phone call. It was supposed to be short, but I had to take it. Sorry about that. So we are in London Control. Yeah, more or less 40 minutes. Maybe less than that. We'll see. Oh. Alright, we passed the equal time point. We're now in British soil, so we got our feet dry already in England. We're going for London Center. Let's see where we are right now. There it is. So we're going left to Plymouth. There's Plymouth there. Straight to Swansea. And Liverpool is right there, so we're gonna make a slight turn to the right and then direct to our star for John Lennon Airport. So for those that don't know, Liverpool is the hometown for the world famous band Beatles, the Beatles. Who doesn't know that? Come on, everybody knows that. Still, this center point is offset. We should be sitting there. It was offset. Yeah, hometown of the Beatles. That's why the airport is called John Lennon, by the way. John Lennon was one of the Beatles. Not sure he was a guitarist. I'm not sure if it was the main man. I think the main man was Paul McCartney, right? Paul McCartney did most of the vocals. Really? In Manchester? I guess you guys love your own music, but every day. To be honest, I can't really remember a more iconic pop rock band from the UK. They were the band, right? But it's arguable. It's amazing that the sun has set for so long and we're still seeing the glare in the horizon. We can turn this off now. Oh, it gets really dark, this paper. I mean, I was complaining last time that it was too dim, too bright, sorry. And I had to come here and mess with it and said, well, man, this is a paper thing, so it should be like paper, dark. But now I'm paying the price for my criticism. Now I need to turn on the light for it.
Speedbridge 1015 heavy. London control. Expect PAX 1 there. Runway 27.
Oasis, yeah, but they're not as popular, I think. I also like Blur. They're more rock band, not pop rock. You got other bands that are famous. I don't particularly like them, like Black Sabbath. I don't particularly like that kind of music, but it's also famous. Oh, all right. So am I. They gave us the clearance. So yeah, the PEP 1 Zulu runway 27. That's correct. I almost missed it. I was talking and I missed it. That's the one we got. Pepsi 1 Lima to runway 27. I hope they don't give us the RNP. We can select the ILS approach, of course.
Good evening. Flight level 370.
Ryanair 5600. Land to control. Identified.
London control. Ryanair 2 Whiskey Whiskey. Flight level 379.
Ryanair 2 Whiskey Whiskey. London control. Radar contact.
Of course, the Rolling Stones. How could I forget the Rolling Stones? I'm so sorry, guys. British guys watching. How could I forget the Rolling Stones? But hey, no member of the Rolling Stones died yet, so there's no airport in their name. It's not funny, but it is funny, because those guys, they seem to be living forever, the Rolling Stones, don't they? Keith Richards looks so old. You can read the call sign in aviation language? What do you mean? What do you mean by that, Drexy?
Easy 92 Foxtrot Whiskey. Contact landing control 132.15. Synton 132.15. Easy 92 Foxtrot Whiskey. Ryanair 2 Whiskey Whiskey. 4 Hail 1 minute. Runway 27. Report ready for descent.
4 Hail 1 minute. Runway 27. Ready for descent. Ryanair 2 Whiskey Whiskey.
Ryanair 2 Whiskey Whiskey. Descent to flight level 070.
Descent to flight level 070. Ryanair 2 Whiskey Whiskey.
You mean the registration? It's November 323 Echo Alpha. November 323 Echo Alpha. That's the phonetic alphabet. It's one of the things you need to memorize if you want to fly anywhere. Oh, it looks like the progression bar is frozen again. Sorry about that, guys. Let me try to refresh that in a real quick. This progression bar is going to be never going to work well with this plane. There, fixed it for now. It loses connection for some reason. It only happens with this plane for some reason. But there it is. We're much closer now than what the bar was saying. Alright, let's prep the descent now, because I think we're getting awfully close now. Oh, what did I do? What did I do here? What did I do here? Oh, it's the floodlight. No floodlight. Alright, so call ready for descent.
1015 heavy. Ready for descent. Speedbird 1015 heavy. Descent to flight level 180.
180.
Descent to flight level 180. Speedbird 1015 heavy.
So we have several options for the descent. We're going to opt to get the optimal descent. So we're going to go VNAV. It's going to go descent, but still attempt to maintain flight level. Mach 0.83. I'm sorry. What?
Easy 65 Hotel Lima. Descent to 4,000 feet. QNH 1018.
Well, let's do this manually then.
4,000 feet.
So 2,000 feet per minute. That will give us me in math. So that will give us out of flight level 380 at 2,000 feet per minute.
Easy 404 Romeo. London control. Expect garrison Golf. Runway 23.
About 10 minutes.
Runway 23.
10 minutes will be at flight level 270. So we need to go down a little faster than that. Don't worry about overspeeding on this plane, really, because it has a tremendous speed brake system.
Ready for descent. Easy 404 Romeo.
Well, it's the entire alphabet from A to Z, Trexie, from Alpha to Z. So you might as well, if you like aviation, you might as well start memorizing.
Ryanair 2 Whiskey Whiskey. Contact Liverpool approach 119.855.
Contact Liverpool approach 119.855. Ryanair 2 Whiskey Whiskey.
Easy 404 Romeo. Contact Glasgow approach 128.755.
Contact Glasgow approach 128.755. Easy 404 Romeo.
Hey Captain, cabin is secure.
We need to follow the autocomplete for descent.
Copy, descent flow, going through it. One moment. Flow's done. You're welcome.
Set landing elevation. So we set that earlier. That's 78 feet.
Control 132.15. Ryanair 26 Victory.
So somewhere over there, local QNH is 1016 6. Done. Alright. And the other item was that's it. I had to do that manually because the flight engineer still doesn't do this on his own, so then we need to go to the approach mode. And as you can see, the plane is doing a good job in maintaining an optimal descent at Mach 0.8. We've engaged the descent. At some point, as you will see later, we will run out of waypoints. That's when we need to engage the final approach legs. If we're not given vectors, we'll probably need to fly the NDB approach, which is a bit of a pain, but we can do it. Alpha Bravo Charlie Delta Echo Foxtrot Golf Hotel India Juliet Mike November Oscar Papa Quebec Romeo Sierra Tango Uniform Victor Whiskey Sierra X-Ray in Yankee Zulu. So it becomes a second nature. So alright, so let's go back to the arrival here. This is the one we need to follow right here. So we need to go to Keegan, and that's our last waypoint here. After that, we need to switch to radio. And we need to select actually there's no, now I remember, there's no NDB mode, so that's gonna be a bit of a pain in the rear end. How are we gonna do this? So we got the NDB tuned for sure, that's ADF, and we need to fly manually. So how do we plot a course to the NDB? That's the one, right there, 349er.5. We need to plot a course based on that NDB and then perform that funky ILS approach. Doable, however difficult, but doable.
London Control, right altitude 399, flight level 370.
Ryanair 2399, London Control, identified.
It's not a lot of codes, it's just the alphabet. You see, if you speak the letters, let's say I want to see the call sign here, it's November 323 Echo Alpha right here. If I say N323EA, in the frequency, due to the muffling of the microphones and the frequency distortion itself, it might sound completely different. For example, we don't say number 9 on the frequency, we say niner, because 9 in German is no, and we don't want to say the word no, universally speaking it, when we want to say number 9. We also don't say 3 like number 3, we say tree like the tree, like you know, the forest tree, because we don't want to get mistaken with free, F-R-E-E. So a lot of stuff is convention in frequency, so that you can be better understood. And one of them is the phonetic alphabet. So you want to say this call sign, you don't say N323EA, because it can sound completely different to anybody listening. You will say November 323 Echo Alpha, and everybody on the other side will know what Echo Alpha means. And this one, the Selcal, you'll say Fox Lima Echo Golf. And after a while, it just becomes second nature. I guarantee you that you will. We're at flight level. We'll be given a different altitude soon-ish. Now we need to pay real good attention to our descents here. We're also going to reduce our speed to 250 knots.
Shamrock 611, contact Shannon Control 132.15.
Contact Shannon Control 132.15. Shamrock 611.
Shamrock 497.
We could follow the VNAV approach here, but
runway 10 left. Report ready for descent.
that's just a fail-safe mechanism for me.
Runway 10 left.
That's our final steer point there.
Ready for descent. Shamrock 497.
And here we are at Pepsi.
Descend to flight level 240.
Now we need to descend flight level 070.
Shamrock 497.
Speedbird 1015.
There it is.
Descend to flight level 070. Descend to flight level 070. Speedbird 1015 heavy. Shamrock 529. Statutory Romeo with SX transition.
Alright, let's go back to vertical speed again, and let's manually descend. I would say the same descent rate. And again, don't worry about exceeding or overspeeding, because the speed brakes on this plane are very, very effective. They're like snap brakes on.
Radar vectors. ILS runway 25. Report ready for descent.
Traffic on the road? What do you mean? We're in the clouds, we can't see much.
Max 8 uniform. Navigraph landing runway 25.
So we're going to Monty and then turn left to Godpa and finally Keegan, our final waypoint.
Newcastle Director approach 125.83.
Contact Newcastle Director approach 125.83. Easy 46 line time now.
SF454 heavy. Big 10 with Arcom transition. Runway 27 left. Report ready for descent.
Big 10 with the Arcom transition. Runway 27 left.
Still don't have any DME or ADF. We're still out of range.
Descend to 7,000 feet. Few and H1019.
Oh, Drexy. I forgot you were driving, yeah. By the way, our local QNH is 1021. No, sorry, 1016. Need to remember that as we go through the transition.
London Control. Expect Factory 3 Romeo with SX transition. Runway 10 left.
Expect Factory 3 Romeo with SX transition. Runway 10 left.
There's some clouds. Radar doesn't show much.
988 Hotel Whiskey. Contact London Control 118.475. Contact London Control.
There's some marks there. Oh, spoke too soon. Haha. Betsy can set our own radar.
London Control.
Set our heading here.
Ryanair 15 Whiskey Romeo. Flight level 370.
Almost pure north.
London Control identified.
005. So something like 005. By the way, the INS system can really become unstable, and there's something called precessing, So it will, I don't know if that's the word in English, but that's what I think it is. The meaning that the INSs are gyroscopes, and they will suffer from Earth's rotation, aircraft acceleration, altitude changes. They will start giving out some errors. And so at some point in time, the pilots will need to fix these deviations. Same thing happens in modern day planes. Let's go to Liverpool.
Contact Liverpool approach 119.855. Speedbird 1015 heavy. Liverpool approach. Speedbird 1015 heavy. Flight level 0905. We have them on board.
Speedbird 1015 heavy Liverpool approach. QNH1015.
Nice radar vector, so we don't have to do the NDB. We already have the NDB info, by the way. Oh, icing. Where's the anti-ice? So let's go for engine anti-ice 1, 2, and 3. So icing was detected. I guess we can also activate it for the wing anti-ice. Set it to auto. So these are old school anti-ice systems. Nice, we reached 7,000 feet way before the waypoint, which is always a pleasure. Let's stay at 250 knots for now. Plane is doing a good job intercepting altitudes this time. So I prefer to do the vectors than doing the NDB. So what are we going to do now is it's still on INS.
1015 heavy. Please click on heading 080. Expect radar vectors for IL as runway 27.
080.
Heading 080. Expect radar vectors for IL as runway 27. Speedbird 1015 heavy.
Alright, let's go leave key gun at 080 and follow INS until there. We're almost there. One mile. And now let's go heading 080 because we're passing it. As you can see here,
1015 heavy. 75,000 feet. QNH1016.
5,000 feet.
Ascend to 5,000 feet. QNH1016. Speedbird 1015 heavy.
Let's go vertical speed again. Let's go down a little faster. 1,500 feet, it seems good. I'm going to turn on my track IR now. And I'm going to level off. There it is. Alright, let's get out of... Let's go to radio.
Heading 080.
Turn right. Heading 080.
That's what I'm doing, turning 080. So we were 11 miles. There's the airport right there. Let's set QNH local 1016 and cross-checked 1016. Done and done. Alright. We always need to confirm both the co-pilot and the standby altimeter. So here we are, let's go to our ILS approach now. And there we are. So we're going through southbound, instead of going northbound as the NDB would force us to do so. Now we need to just descend. And here's a key rule when receiving vectors, especially from beyond ATC. Don't rush turning if you're going to turn to final or are intercepting an ILS like we're about to.
Turn right, heading 090.
Turn right, heading 090. Speedbird 1015 heavy.
It's actually turning us away from it. Because if you turn immediately, you might be either too high or too close to maneuver. So let's say now ATC would tell us to descend to 2,000 feet as the ILS approach implies, but they would tell us to turn immediately towards it. It would be too short, especially for such a big plane as this one. So now we're going to check our landing performance, and we're going to reduce speed to 183 knots so we can start clearing out the flaps. And of course we are going to get our landing data in. So the plane is now decelerating, so we can put out some flaps. So our V speed for flaps 183 knots, flap 4. Passing 200 knots. The slower you do this, the better. It gives you more time.
Speedbird 1015 heavy, turn right, heading 100.
Turn right, heading 100. Speedbird 1015 heavy.
So we got ILS information already. Don't mind the DMEs here, these are still for the INS system, so don't mind them.
Flaps 4.
Speed check flaps 4. And the nose comes down as it should with the new flap setting. So remember, our V approach is 148. At that point you can disengage the auto throttle and just do it by hand. Oh, we're passing 10,000 feet. Just turning on the external lights so we can be visible. We're still at 5,000. See, it's not doing a good job keeping those 5,000 feet. It's struggling, but it'll get there eventually. You can easily change that by just engaging VS, set it to minus 200 or so, and let it intercept. So we are getting farther, so we will probably get clearance to turn in a little further in.
Heading 110. Speedbird 1015 heavy.
Something like that.
1015 heavy.
Descend 4,000.
Descend to 4,000 feet. Speedbird 1015 heavy.
Let's do 600 feet. Sounds good.
Speedbird 1015 heavy. Turn right. Heading 120.
Turn right. Heading 120. Speedbird.
We're getting farther away from the turn here, but okay. As long as we're not turned in like crazy.
Speedbird 1015 heavy.
Alright, there you go.
Turn left. Heading 010. Descend to 3,000 feet.
Turn left. Heading 010. Descend to 3,000 feet. Speedbird 1015 heavy.
Turn, 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 turn. Sorry guys, I need to focus here. It's not very long, it's only 2,200 meters. But it's enough. Not sure how many Tristars landed there, but it's enough. So at this point you can turn on the localizer. Or maybe not on these planes, no. There's the airport. We're still not clear to intercept the ILS. We need to descend to 2,000 feet. So let's do that a little faster. Let's descend a little faster here. Because we need to get to 2,000 feet, then turn. Because I think we're going to be way off now.
Speedbird 1015 heavy. 5 miles from CF27. Turn left. Heading 290. Maintain 2,000 feet until established on the final approach course. Cleared ILS runway 27.
Turn left. Heading 290. 2,000 feet until established. Cleared ILS runway 27. Speedbird 1015 heavy.
Alright, still descending. Now we can engage the localizer. There's the airport. Right, let's go for the approach checklist.
Yeah, Cap, I'll get the approach flow done. Stand by.
Let's reduce speed
Hey, Cap, that
to
flow is all
148.
set. Aircraft is yours.
So we can insert the rest of the flaps.
2500.
Gear down. That's the gear down warning, by the way.
Down.
Alright, let's get flaps 10.
Flaps 10.
That's the decision height. Oh, actually,
Speedbird 1015 heavy. Contact Liverpool Tower 126.355. Have a good evening.
Over to tower
go to the tower.
126.355.
Speed check flaps 14.
Flaps 14.
Have a good evening. Liverpool Tower. Speedbird 1015 heavy. ILS runway 27.
Speedbird 1015 heavy. Liverpool Tower. Wind 17.
Flaps 16. 18.
Flaps 18.
Runway 27 clear to land.
Should be flaps 22 at 163. Flaps 22.
Flaps 22.
And now flaps
33.
33. We're good to go. Let's go for the ILS. We're going below the glide path, which is always the best thing to do. Set our heading 266 to go inside. There it is, our glide path is going to be on par. Plane's fully configured to land. And there we go, intercepting the glide slope. That's beautiful. Let's just turn this off for now. Beautiful sight, Liverpool at night.
1500.
1500 check. Our minimums will be at 200 feet radar altimeter. A little fast. I think we're good to go. Autopilot off. It just removed my 1000 check. Still full, a little high. Still flying the HSI. I just wasn't expecting it to remove my needles from the artificial horizon. A little windy from the right. Correcting it. Very windy.
500.
500 check. A little low now. On par. Little high. Retard. Nice. Reverse. Forgot the auto brakes. Full reverse. Oops. And as expected, we're gonna need 1,800 feet, 1,900 feet to stop the plane. Gotta get on that other taxiway. Reverse is off. Very nice landing from an oldie, showing the new guys how it's done. Turn here. I hope I can get to the apron from here. I think so. Looks like a very tiny taxiway though.
Speedbird 1015 heavy, contact ground 121.955.
Ground 121.955. Speedbird 1015 heavy.
Right. So let's take a look at the airport here. So here we are. We need to go to the main apron, so let's request GSX to give us, well, actually let's request be on ATC and see if it works.
Speedbird 1015 heavy. Request taxi to the gate.
Speedbird 1015 heavy. Welcome to Liverpool John Lennon Airport.
Yeah,
Departure
0
orders,
suitable
access need assignment.
aprons. So let's just go with stand 6. What? Okay, nice. So ramp 6.
Speedbird 1015 heavy. Welcome to Liverpool John Lennon Airport. Say parking or advise if need assignment.
Yeah, any ramp.
We'll take any ramp, please. Speedbird 1015 heavy.
Speedbird 1015 heavy.
Alright, 6-2 it is.
62 via Delta, Alpha, Kilo.
Taxi to ramp 62 via Delta, Alpha, Kilo. Speedbird 1015 heavy.
Hello. Ramp 6-2. No. Alright, there we go. At this point we can turn off all these lights and just engage a taxi and run return off. Flaps
Flap
up.
0.
Flap 0 set. And let's get the after landing. Is the APU coming up? Yep, it's turning on. So we need to go to ramp 6-2 via Delta, Alpha and Kilo. I can't do that right now while I'm maneuvering this plane. So I believe this is the other apron on the other side. Yep. So it's the other apron, very remote one. We need to go all the way through this taxi. Yeah, it did. Hello, Richard. It did. Welcome. So Liverpool isn't a big airport, as you can see. It's going to be fun to get out of here in the small plane. I really wanted to fly the ATR. I hope that Microsoft releases it soon, because it's still not available for Flight Simulator 2024, but they said they would release it probably next week. So if that's the case, I would love to get out of here in an ATR, but If not, we'll take another plane. It's alright. So it's not this apron, it's the other one. I think it's actually taking me to a military apron, if I'm not mistaken. There's some EasyJet aircraft here. Yeah, that apron is going to be very small for this airplane. I'm just checking here. So it wants me to go here. And I hope we have enough room for that, because it definitely doesn't look like that. Isle of Man. Are we actually clipping the trees here? It will be crazy if we are. We are not, but we are not that far from it. Look at that. We can actually turn off the strobes. No need to have the strobes on. Always follow your checklist, look, guys. Remember that. Learn it from me, because I'm not following checklists right now and I'm suffering from it. So our after landing checklist is complete. Now we're gonna do it, except for the one, well.
Captain, flow complete. Back to you now.
Alright, there it is. So now we're gonna make a left hand. Oh my god, this is the general aviation parking. This is gonna be fun. There's not even room for my airplane to maneuver here. Why did it send me here? I should have gone with, you know, a heavy apron. There's no heavy apron, by the way. Ravenair, what's that? Liverpool's flying school. We're gonna, yeah, I do need to go back to flight school apparently. Right, let's just park it here somewhere. This looks so dodgy. Let me see, where's my parking spot? So right hand turn here. Let's go outside. Oh, I'm gonna clip that plane. Oh, I missed it. Oh, phew. How about that? Parking with the little Cessnas. No parking there, alright. Oh, there's my guys. You know, it's the second time this happened to me. When I first landed at Lisbon, we had the exact same issue. They parked us in a general aviation area, so I think this is something to do with the way this plane is identified. I can't even see the marshal. There's no marshal. Oh, there he is, right up front. It's outside the airport's perimeter. All right. Let's not dwell into crazy land. Alright, so we're going to park it here. Let's run the parking checklist.
No problem. Let's see. Parking flow. Ah, yep. Give me a second.
This guy is so passive aggressive.
Captain, that last flow is done. Aircraft is set.
Nicely done. Alright, guys, welcome to Liverpool. The assigned gate area is not exactly what we wanted, but we are here and we like it. It's impossible for us to unload the passengers though, because I mean, look at where we are. Just a remote general aviation parking. Again, the same thing happened in our first flight. I think this plane is wrongly ID'd by Microsoft Flight Simulator as a smaller plane, and that's the reason why these things happen. But here we are. We arrived safe and sound to Liverpool. What a pleasant flight it was. Flying in all the getting our bearings through using INS and needles was a great thing. Really appreciate this amazing flight, really good. I've had some nice flights in the past, but some of them were rough recently, and it's always good to have a good flight for a change, and this one was it. It was a very nice, very cool flight on the Inibuilds L-1011 Tristar. This was the British Airways flight from Porto to to Liverpool. I unfortunately messed up here with the parking stands, but I mean, the flight itself and the landing was top-notch, really good ILS approach as well. It's not just pilot skill, it's actually airplane's performance was actually pretty good. And I managed to fly everything, get my flight engineer to operate correctly, and here we are at our beautiful Liverpool airport. I'm sorry I can't show you much because we landed in this remote place, but this is the new Inibuilds Liverpool airport. Apparently it learns where you park your plane, so I hope they don't get me to park here again in the future. But we can now secure the securing checks. This was a very cool flight. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I do.
Back to you.
There's a cockpit flow done. I'll be seeing you next time, guys. Remember, if you liked what you saw, oh, come on, give me a light here. That is not even. We need to connect the ground power here. Alright, let's turn this on. And let's get the storm light on. Where is that? There it is. Much better. Alright, so guys, again, if you like what you saw, leave a like, subscribe, tell your friends about it if they also enjoy this kind of flying. I usually fly more modern planes. I don't usually fly the classics, but they grow on me. I like them. And I hope you guys enjoy it as much as I do. And remember, if you feel like it, you can also help the channel with a donation. There's a Buy Me a Coffee link in the description. I thank you all guys from the chat. So starting from the top, Andrew, Trexie, of course, Dinesh, thank you for coming, and my good friend Richard AMC, thank you so much for your visit. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time, and remember, keep the blue side up, and if you like flying as much as I do, remember, there's always a blue sky above that thunderstorm. Cheers guys, see you next time.
I love to fly up in the sky. Through the clouds I reach so high, climbing up to touch the light. Adventure calls me day and night. The wind, it sings a melody, guiding where I long to be. I'll spread my wings and chase the sun. No limits when the dream's begun. The world below fades out of sight as I soar into the light. The stars above begin to shine, painting trails so bright and fine. Every turn brings something new, endless skies in brilliant blue. The wind, it sings a melody, guiding where I long to be. I'll spread my wings and chase the sun. No limits when the dream's begun. The world below fades out of sight as I soar into the light. the sun. No limits when the drums begun. The world below fades out of sight as I soared into the night.